You're probably standing on a job site or in your garage wondering if there's a laser level that won't quit on you halfway through a layout, that you can actually set up in a few minutes, and that won't make you feel like you've just thrown $500 at a piece of glass. That hesitation is real. Most of us have paid for a professional kit only to discover the battery dies after the first day or the unit drifts as soon as a light breeze hits. If you're looking for something that lives up to the hype without turning your next project into a scavenger hunt, keep listening. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What makes a rotary laser worth its price isn't the number of accessories in the box. It's how it behaves when you actually need it to hold a level line for a wall, a floor, or a fence line that stretches out into the yard. I spent a couple of mornings testing the Spectra Precision LL1505C on a half-finished basement, a concrete patio, and a small farm fence, and the story that emerged was pretty straightforward. It does the job you pay for, but there are a few quirks that will matter depending on how you plan to use it. First off, the self-leveling mechanism feels genuinely precise. The unit settles into a level within a second and stays there without the kind of wobble you sometimes hear from cheaper models. On the basement floor, I set the laser on a clamp, turned it on, and watched the red line sweep a perfect circle at the 30-meter mark. The line stayed true even after I walked around the room, adjusted the clamp a few times, and even nudged the floor with a piece of drywall. For anyone who needs a reliable reference for installing drop ceilings, laying tile, or framing a wall, that stability is a huge time saver. The range claim of 30 meters holds up in practice, too. In the open field where I was aligning a fence, the laser's beam stayed bright enough to see with a receiver mounted on a pole even at the outer edge of its advertised range. That's the kind of distance you need when you're not standing right next to a wall but still want a level reference that doesn't fade into the background. It's also why the included LL1505C receiver is a welcome addition. The receiver locks onto the laser and gives you a clear green LED, making it easy to spot the line from the other side of a fence or a tall row of shrubs. Durability is another selling point the marketing material emphasizes, and the reality matches most of it. The housing is sealed to an IP66 rating, meaning dust and water spray don't get inside. I tossed the unit into a rainstorm after the day's work and it kept running without hiccup. That said, the kit isn't indestructible. The metal clamp can dent if you slam it onto a hard edge, and the remote control's plastic feels a bit cheap, so you'll want to treat it with the same care you would a high-end power tool. Battery life is where the trade-off becomes noticeable. The kit ships with a 10Ah NiMH pack that powers the laser for roughly 810 hours of continuous operation, which is plenty for a typical day's work. However, the charger is a basic wall wart that takes about 6 hours to bring the battery back to full. If you're planning back-to-back jobs with only one charger on site, you'll either need to rotate batteries or schedule a break while the pack recharges. For a contractor who moves from house to house, having an extra pack on hand is almost a necessity. Who should walk away with this kit? If you're a professional contractor, an installer, or a serious DIY enthusiast who regularly needs to lay out long, level lines, think concrete floors, decks, or large-scale landscaping, the LL1505C gives you a level of confidence that cheaper rotary lasers simply can't match. The included accessories, receiver, clamp, remote, and a compact carrying case mean you won't have to hunt for extra parts later, and the brand's long history since 1965 adds a layer of trust that many newer brands lack. On the other side of the aisle, if your projects are mostly interior, short-range tasks like hanging pictures or installing kitchen cabinets, you'll probably be overpaying for the range and the rugged enclosure. A simple line laser or a smaller rotary unit would handle those jobs with less upfront cost and fewer batteries to manage. Likewise, anyone who expects a set-and-forget battery that lasts a full week without recharge should look elsewhere. The NiMH pack is solid but not magical. One practical weakness that showed up during testing was the weight. The whole kit, with the case, comes in a bit heavier than a handheld level, so you'll need a stable surface or a sturdy tripod for extended use. If you're working on a ladder or a cramped attic space, you might find the bulk a little cumbersome. That said, the extra mass does contribute to